So we are at a place called the Thrombolites, and they're absolutely stunning. Very few places in the world have these. Dorset, England is the other one, and then here in Western Australia.
The Bahamas.
And the Bahamas apparently as well. And they may look like rocks, but they are not. They are microbial, I think I said that right, organisms that take calcium from the water and deposit them into these rock-like formations. So what's really cool about these is that you can only find them in very few places in the world. Here in Western Australia, you can find them, and these thrombolites are considered modern because they're only about 2,000 years old, so they're quite young. Whereas in Dorset, England, you can find fossilized ones, which are millions of years old. And then in the Bahamas as well, you can find living thrombolites. So it's really, really interesting, and we feel very fortunate to be able to see something like this.
Alright, so we were cycling through Harvey last night and things were starting to look pretty dire. Couldn't find anywhere to camp, we didn't have any camping gas. It was getting dark, and this fella called Brendan walks over to us and asks us where we've been travelling from and takes us in. So we've spent the night sleeping in his workshop, which is pretty cool. He's got all sorts of projects going on. And he's told us we're welcome to stay for a few nights if we need to. There's a storm rolling into town, so I think we might have to. Kind of sucks, it puts a dent in our plan a little bit, but we'll see what happens.
We left Harvey yesterday after 2 nights there. Really cute little town. Our host Brendan and his wife Denise were so lovely, really helpful, gave us ideas for routes to take on our way to Esperance. So it's just a really nice experience. And so we went from that wonderful experience to kind of a hellish ride into the unknown, basically. Last night, as we were after about 20 miles or so, which isn't a very long day for us, after about 20 miles of cycling very hilly roads, dealing with rednecks in their trucks, purposely driving too close. We were exhausted, it was raining, the weather was just awful yesterday, and we had no place to stay. No campsites, no hotels, nothing planned, nothing booked. So and it was around 3 o'clock, which is usually when we like to stop and set up camp, because it gets dark here early, because it's winter right now in Australia. And we were kind of concerned. And as we're cycling through basically the middle of nowhere, we noticed a building. And at first we thought it was just someone's house. And then I noticed that at the back of it were outhouses. And I'm like, is that a campsite? So we pull into this building. It turns out to be a church. It's a historical building. I'm currently sitting in it. This is St. David's Catholic Church, and it was built in the early 1900s. It's one of only 2 remaining historical structures in this area. And, well, what do you know? It was completely open, unmanned. We thought, you know what? I think this is a sign. Let's go for it. We camped out in the back of the church. There was a nice little room, just empty, perfect, just perfect for us, enough space for our sleeping mats. So we camped there. And I'm so glad we did, because all night, just this, like, the wind and the rain were insane. Like, this little church was just getting pounded by the elements. And we were nice and cozy and warm and dry, and that was the important part. So we couldn't believe our luck at finding this place. And really, this church is in the middle of nowhere. It's a really neat find. And now the weather is getting better, so we are heading off to Collie. And we booked a hotel. Yeah, we decided, you know, we're going to splurge, we're just going to get a hotel room.